So today, really want to talk about reprogramming the human, right? Like deprogramming the versions, the identities, the personalities, these egos, all of these things that aren't really who we are, but what we have been taught we have to be, right? Because when we're children, we know who we are. We come into this existence, even though when we're born, we do, our soul does forget, but we still have a really divine connection to God, source, the creator, when we're youthful, because we're so pure. We're really in our most, pure state of being, pure love, pure light. And while we go through the school, right, the school is like a prison damn near, we really get conditioned and programmed to be and to forget who we are. And then we get programmed to be what they want us to be in society. You know what I mean? And it's so many things, but it really stems from those years of adolescence, because when we're kids, we really develop who we are as a person and qualities of ourselves. But in this age that we are now, that we're all waking up to, it's important that before we go into, even going deeper into spiritual practice, even going into, new timelines, new identities, and just wanting to be of service to others, we have to be of service to ourselves, and we have to really do the deprogramming of all the years of conditioning that we've endured, so that we can be the most divine, highest self, the way that God, source, the creator, created us to be initially that we have just got derived from. But I see it all as a journey. I feel that everything happens in life for a reason. Even things that may be traumatic and may be painful, it's still a part of the soul's journey and soul mission here. And the more we can accept and be in acceptance of what is, and then see the reason of why it had to happen, then it becomes easier. It really becomes easier, and you're not holding on to the pain, you're not holding on to the trauma as an identity for you to be a victim, but you're just accepting that it happened. And I feel that if we lived in acceptance of every moment of our lives and not attachment to it, we would evolve a lot more rapidly, but just starting off with the deprogramming, right? So I really would say you need to be a Mother Earth. You see every video, I'm in Mother Earth because I receive messages, I receive truths, I'm grounded. There is no illusion in Mother Earth, right? And being out in nature, being in, Mother Earth is a reflection of us. We are her children. So the more that we spend time in our real home, it's really easy to remember how we were created and who we came here to be in this existence. It's not as difficult because you have all the natural elements that are external surrounding you that activate the internal within us. And so my first step with deprogramming yourself is to be in nature. Like, be in nature, meditate, take walks, be present. That will already just put you in a more free, peaceful, blissful state of being. Before you even go to outward information, sometimes you need to be in nature so you listen to the wisdom you already have within you. So you connect to Mother Earth, divine wisdom, from just being present. It's not that you always need to go seek information outside of you. You need to have and activate the wisdom within. And then when you do access other information, you can see and know what resonates with you and what's truthful to you. Just because it's truthful to somebody else doesn't mean that it's the truth for you. And Another thing too is like me learning more about quantum consciousness and everything. Like, we are all observers. All of us are observers of this reality in our own perception. That's why everything is subjective in life. And I've already made a video about polarity doesn't exist. But yeah, good and bad, evil and good, truth and lie, like, everybody's going to have their own viewpoint. So that's why you have to be so deeply connected to yourself, to your soul, so that you know what's truthful to you, because you've taken the time to know and access deeper parts of yourself. You can't go out and need a confirmation for every single thing in your life. That's you also giving your power away and still being programmed in some way, shape, or form by something external. So, you know what I mean? A lot of things are simple. A lot of things are simple. Life is simple. The way life was created initially was very simple, very free, very peaceful and loving. We've just gotten so derived from that because of colonization. The ancient people lived very peaceful, connected, intentional lives connected to Earth's cycles, to Mother Earth, to the cosmos. So, everybody played their role as well. Everybody had their own role to play within their system of what their soul, their heart was guided to, and living in that purpose. So yeah, that's step one. Deprogramming is to really just be in nature. Step two, I feel like you have to make a list, and write. Maybe not a list. It doesn't have to be a list, but I feel like you have to do journaling. I say this all the time to people when they want to, heal and let go of things. I always recommend journaling, because journaling allows you to see your subconscious. We can say, and you can say all these things and try to make yourself believe all these things. However, there's going to always be subconscious parts of yourself that may not fully believe it, that may not fully, embody it, that may not, fears, programmings, trauma, things that are subconscious within our mind that we may have, forgotten, that we may have buried, that we may have just allowed to become a part of us. So, journaling allows us to really get to the depths of ourselves, to get and work into the things that we may not want to say out loud as well. Everybody says therapy, and therapy is great, but I also feel like you have to be doing your own inner working as well. You can't be dependent on the external, and that's the biggest thing with anything in its existence. Like, you have to have your own divine connection within yourself to the creator, within, external, and you will see that you create the external. But if you are always needing something external to validate and to confirm and to give you reassurance, then you're not trusting in your connection, right? And I have made a video about this on TikTok, just saying, like, we can trust God, source, the creator, we can trust the divine, the universe, but can we trust ourselves? And a lot of times people aren't, you know what I mean? Even myself, that was a question to myself. Can I trust myself? Do I trust myself to bring visions to life? Do I trust myself to not judge myself for the things that I've done? Can I trust myself to be free with no care of how people are perceiving me? Can I trust myself to love unapologetically, unconditionally? Can I trust myself to take risks, to take leaps of faith, right? So, journaling, asking yourself these questions, activating, because really when you do right, a lot of times we're channeling, and a lot of times we can ask our subconscious self, and we can ask our soul, and we can ask, our highest self, the questions that we are seeking externally, and we will answer them. I had a journal, and I literally wrote out, I'll ask myself why I kept seeing something in a dream, and myself actually answered it right away. Before going to Google, before trying to look it up. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we need to allow ourselves to know the wisdom that we have, and to really listen to ourselves, listen to our truth. Okay? So yes, we'll go over step 1, be in nature, be present, connect to Mother Earth's wisdom that then also activates divine wisdom within. Step 2, journal into your subconscious, get into the depths of yourself, allow your soul to speak through, allow yourself to be a channel, allow yourself to receive. Okay? And then step 3, then I think with 3, then I would say, okay, now that you have developed, a wonderful, ideal connection to yourself, then I would say, okay, now now pick up a book. Now read into different things, and also don't cling and attach yourselves to feeling like this is the truth, this is everything, but also just being aware that it's information that you can receive. So for me, I love to read about multiple different spiritual practices. I'm not one identity to spirituality. I feel like there's always wisdom to learn within different practices. So, listening to your heart and what you feel guided to. Sometimes go into a bookstore and pick up things that you didn't have a plan. Sometimes that's the best thing, is to be guided intuitively to finding books. However, sometimes certain things do come up into our awareness multiple times as a sign as well to say, hey, read this. And if you see something multiple times, listen to that, But yeah, certain books really will evoke and activate even more awareness into yourself, and not even just spirituality, but also quantum physics, also learning about the consciousness that we exist in. Some books I love, I love Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. It's a wonderful book, just speaking on, our ability to create our reality, our ability to, to jump from A to B without having to work, but switching into an internal energy of it's already done, of it's here, of gratitude for it already being here, right? Wonderful book. Another one of my favorites is Sacred Woman by Queen Afua. Wonderful book on, Egyptian, Kemetic spirituality, cosmology, and it was the first book that I felt my spirit and soul guided to on my spiritual journey, and it really did, awaken parts of myself, because I know I had a lifetime in ancient Kemet, in ancient Egypt. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's really listening to you and what you feel guided to. Don't do what the world is doing, but do what your heart and soul is guiding you to. And the wisdom will unlock things within, You will receive knowledge and wisdom from the book, but then you will also activate internal wisdom within as well. Another book I love is called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. Wonderful book. Really wonderful book. It just speaks heavily on, the laws of spirituality, but also exactly with success, and how, the law of karma, the law of giving and receiving, the law of, least potentiality, or, or least effort, law of least effort. Like, a lot of books will activate parts of us in our brain, in our mind, in our spirit, in our soul as well. But these new neurons, right? Books activate new neurons within the brain that make you, remember how to do different things, how we can really control the reality that we live in with a lot more intention and not a lot of external work, but shifting our focus, right? So a lot of times that's really what it is. It's shifting your awareness. It's not being so outwardly focused, it's being internal focused. And that's why I say to really deprogram yourself, you need to shift internally. You have to reprogram the way that you see society. You have to reprogram the way that you see yourself. Most importantly, you have to reprogram what this life and existence is about. And not just about money and not just about material things, right? You have to reprogram yourself to knowing what success looks like for you, what joy, what life, what freedom looks like for you. These are questions that you have to find the definition for within through your experiences, right? Like, experience beyond everything is our number one teacher. So, like I said, going and doing books is great, and that would be my step 3, is then going and letting yourself be activated by external knowledge and wisdom, but also being open to receiving it. Don't be so clinged into a belief of it, but just be like, okay, I like this, I understand this. Just being open to receiving information, not clinging to whether it's true to you or not, right? But just being like a computer, like, okay, I have this program downloaded now and this program downloaded now. So if I wanted to, at different, within my different experiences and within my life, I can refer back to things that I've read in books that have spoken upon these different things. You know what I mean? So that's what I think we should be doing with books. It's not that we cling so deeply onto them, that we think that this has to become our whole belief system. No, your belief system should come from within you more than anything. Excuse me, y'all, I got a little cold, okay? But it's all right. And then, like I just said, with deprogramming yourself to reprogram yourself, spending time realizing and connecting to your inner child, and also being aware of your family too, right? And being aware of qualities and traits that you picked up on. Hi, oh, little butterfly. Man, spring is on its way. Come on, spring, because I love my magical creatures. Okay. So, yes, like I was saying, being aware of the reality that, the environment that you grew up in, and how that environment shaped the way that you perceive the world, shaped the way that you perceive life, is very important. Because, when it comes to reprogramming yourself, you have to know where you have been programmed. And yeah, it's also from school, it's also from your environment, and of course it's going to always be like from your family if you grew up with family, because that was the first initial way that we saw how to love, how to care for ourselves, how to care for others, how to, clean up, how to eat, all these things that we learn in our youth becomes a big way of how we, operate as adults. And me now, like, I even see it now within my family, like, I'm here with my grandparents, and I grew up with my mother, and this is my dad's grandparents, and like, I grew up with my mother, and my sister is also staying with them, but we have different moms. And I see how us growing up with different mothers shapes completely different realities. You know what I mean? How we perceive life in different ways because of the environments that we were raised in, from how we take care of ourselves, and from how we think about life, and how, all these different things. Like, your environment really does, shape the way you perceive life up into a certain age. And it's important that we get back into who we really are, and not who we have been conditioned and programmed to be from our surroundings, from the external, right? And then when we get to that remembering like, oh, this isn't who I am. This is somebody, this is my mom, this is my grandfather, this is, my dad, this is my, like, you can easily spot where certain qualities and traits that you, and identities, right, that you have picked up from your environment that isn't really who you are. And I feel like for me, traveling has made that the most aware for myself. Like through traveling, I really have gotten the chance to see, truly see beyond this reality in America. And that's another thing too, is a lot of the time our reality in America is not real. You know what I mean? It's not real. It's a fake simulation, and we are fed to believe that everything external will make us feel whole, right? That you need to buy the next thing, and you gotta have this, and you gotta have that, and this and that, and everything. Consumption that's the reality that we're fed here. That's the program that we're fed here in America. And until you really leave and go to other places where that's not normal. It's not normal, and it really disconnects you from your internal, open-hearted, loving way of being that we were created to be. And it puts you in this state of always wanting more, right? You're never really satisfied, and you always need something externally to complete you. And then you also miss out on the joys of being alive, the simple joys of speaking to someone in your neighborhood, in your community, saying hi, spending time with, I'm even like saying spending, see, even American language, y'all, spending, sharing. Why are we spending time? Does it cost us to be with family, or does it cost us to use our